guys, it's Peter from the Ridiculously Amazing Nerf Snipers. Today we're going to be doing a modification video on your Maverick Rev 6. In case you don't know anything about this gun, it's basically a revolver. It's got 6 shots. If you pop the barrel out here, you can reload your shots in there. Rotates freely or manually with the squeeze of the trigger. And to load it, you're going to prime that back once and fire it. This was one of the first, 5 guns that Nerf came out with. So it's pretty basic, and so we're going to mod that today. So please remember with modding that you can harm your Nerf gun, and you can harm others with your Nerf gun. So please be careful, and know that I or Nerf is not responsible for anything you do to a gun or a gun does to a person. Thank you. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do with this gun is take out all of your screws. You're going to need a pretty small screwdriver. There are 10 screws in this gun, 1, 2, 3 in the back handle, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the front of the gun, and then 8, 9, 10 in the back handle. So I'm going to do that quick for you guys. Is we're going to take our back priming piece off, and that's just going to split in half, and you're going to have 3 pieces. You're going to have a little cider piece for your rail attachments, and then you're going to have your 2 sides. Recommend putting that back together with that in there, but for time purposes I'm not going to do that. So next we have one more screw in the back here that we uncovered there, and so we're going to take that out quick. So after we take that hidden 11th screw out, we're going to be able to crack this thing in half. So you're going to lift it off there. So when you're looking at this gun, if you've taken apart a Nerf gun before, this is one of the least complex guns out there. There's probably 4 that are at least slightly more complex, but still got air restrictors and springs and still your basic components. This was one of the earlier guns, so not all. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this barrel and chamber out. So I think if we just pop it out sort of, to get those 2 gray pieces up and out, you should be able to just kind of pull something back. Oh, this orange thing. That orange thing there, you got to pull that back a little, and then it should just lift out. So that gives you your nice little spinny chamber there. Hey guys, so as you can see, I have the Maverick chamber put in my vise, and I put a hammer under the end that goes in the front end with the holes in it, and you just gotta basically lift this gray piece up a little, put your hammer under there, and then pry it up. So you take that spring and that little orange cap and put it with your priming hand. Throw that rod over there. That's a pretty cool piece too. Alright, so that brings us back to our chamber. We are now going to be removing 3 screws in the back here. 1, 2 is there, and 3 is over there. So I just took the 3 screws out of the back of here, and you're just basically going to lift it right off. Don't worry if all 6 of these stay in there, or half of them do, or whatever. It really doesn't matter. But basically, you have important parts here, and you have non-important parts here. The important parts, if you can pull those off, are your long rod-looking things. But you want to put them down in those holes. Put the rod in the hole, yeah. And then you're going to be left with these little triad pieces and a little tiny spring. I can pull them out. And those 2 you really don't need. What you're going to do then is you're going to take these and you're going to put all 6 of them back into there without the springs or the little triad piece. And you're going to push down on all of them, make sure they're in there good. And then you can put that back on and seal it back up with all your screws. so that was the last screw to put back together, so you could probably start putting your gun back together. But I like to do one more final thing before we put it together, which is these two little bumps right there. Those two little bumps. We basically need to cut those off, because when you pop the chamber out, those are the two things that stops it from coming out all the way. So we're going to cut those off. And the one on here, there's a little bump on here. We're going to cut him off too. And then you should be able to pop your entire chamber out quite a bit further. Now you can do this several ways. One being with a knife, two a hacksaw, scissors, you know, really sandpaper, I don't know. Anything you want to do. I mean, but I prefer hacksaw, so I'm going to go do that quick, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to videotape that. So we finally got to the part of the video where I'm showing you guys how to put it back together. And so we're going to start with our chamber here, and we're going to put our rod through the little hole there. And it should start popping through the other end. If it doesn't, you might need to tap it a little bit. Adjust it. Then you're going to take your little spring, you're going to plop it in there, around that. Then your little cap piece. Doesn't matter which way that cap goes on, as long as it goes on there. And you're basically just going to put it on there with your finger. Then you're going to set it down on our firm surface. And you're going to take a hammer, and you're basically going to hammer that thing on there, like this. That should give you your chamber, and then when you push this side, it should go out. And then it should come back on itself. Alright guys, so you're going to notice here that I have a different gun, but it's still a Maverick, just different color scheme and whatnot. So, same principles apply. You're going to take that chamber, and you're just going to drop it back into there. And you're going to have to pull that back. Drop your two gray pieces in there, and you have a chamber in there. Then what you're going to need is something fairly small, and you're probably going to have to connect this spring around something. I used the screwdriver that I used on that tiny screw that we had to take apart earlier. And you're going to take your piece here, and you're going to pop it through, and basically you're going to slide it from your screwdriver. What we've done is we've removed our air restrictors from our chamber, and then we've sanded down both here and here to, it should go all the way out to there. You don't actually have to put it all the way back together to test it like that. So then, yep, you're just going to pop it back up into there, like so. Then we can put the cover back on. Like I said, that's a different cover. The one we're used to. And you put that piece back on over the top. Well, you want to put the screw in there first. And then you want to screw all 10 of your screws back in. And, oh yeah, make sure you have your cider piece and your spring up in there. And you're good to go. So this is our shooting test. I got the plastic cups out there every 5 feet. And then the shoes mark 20 and 30. I don't know if you can see that. There's a paving brick up after that last cup. That one marks 40 feet. I don't know if any are going past that, or I don't know. So we're going to start shooting and see what happens. This is the Elite Bolt darts in our modified gun. The first dart, 21 feet, ended from about 28, 29 to all the way to about 34. And that was the Elite darts in the modified gun. We're going to do that test again with the same dots, but in the other blaster. Here we go. feet, then there's 2 more at probably 23, then there's 1 at 25, and the 2 others are at like 27. So as you can see, it's about 5 feet less with the non-modified and 5 feet more with the air restrictor mods. So now we're going to do the test with whistly dots and our modified blaster, and then we'll do it again. Alright. First 2 modified whistler dots landed at about 21. There's 1 up here. So what is that? There's 2 there at 30, and then there's 1 in between there about 27. So decent ranges. And along with decent ranges, that's about what we got with the elite dots. So I'm not really seeing any difference. Now we're going to do the whistler dots in the non-modified gun. Here we go. Start there, landed at just past 6 feet, so I don't know if that's just a bad dart or what. Second dart at around 17 feet, 24 foot, and then we got a 26, and then we got 2 that are about a foot away from 30, 1 over and 1 under. So remember that all of these shots are uphill after about 20 feet, slight uphill, probably like 15-20 degree uphill. And I'm using a level shot from about 4.5-5 feet up, so those ranges should be fairly accurate.